Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Amora. I am your host, Amora. This show was created to provide a space for real people to share why and how they ended their toxic relationship and how they've managed to move on and live a beautiful life. We all know that breakups are hurtful, no matter who initiates it. It's like going through a grieving process. You deal with emotions from anger to sadness to relief, and that cycle may repeat over and over until you get through this process. Just know that these emotions are normal and is needed to completely heal in order for you to move on and love again or enjoy a single lifestyle. These stories are created to help others get through their process. So please sit back, relax, and listen to real life stories of surviving a toxic relationship. All right, so today we have on our panel, we have Mrs. Twin. She is here today to tell her story about her toxic relationship. She's going to speak on how she got through it, got over it, and is living a beautiful life as of today, y'all. Okay? How you doing, Miss Twin?
Hey, hi everybody.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I'm going to let you have the floor and you can just take it however you want to, okay?
Okay.
Okay. First of all, we just want to know you are in a good space today, correct?
Yes,
Okay. All right. So let me ask you something. How long were you in your relationship?
for 11 years, married for 4.
So 11 years total, married for 4.
Yes.
Okay. So what were some of the problems that brought the relationship to a close?
Jealousy, insecure, physical abuse. It was just, you name it, that was it.
Okay. So let me ask you something. What role would you say that you played to contribute to the problems, if any? Okay, she went out. I'm sure she'll be back in a second, y'all. And if y'all have questions that y'all want to ask her, just drop them down below. I see some people already saying, having questions. She'll be back in a few. Okay, so something happened to her computer, but she's on the phone. Say something, Twin. Let's see if they can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Thumbs up if you can hear her. Say something again.
Can you hear me?
Okay, we just got to wait a little bit. I don't know why the delay, but they're going to let us know if they can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, they said they can hear you. Okay, so they are asking questions, Twin. They said jealousy on whose part and insecurities on whose part?
On this end, because I was content with everything.
Okay.
I was lower. I never cheated on him, never gave him a reason to suspect. Vice versa, he never even gave me a reason to suspect. I guess it all started like when I was at home for 1.5 years. You know, I was on unemployment at that time. It was back in, I want to say 2008, 2009. There was something going on with the economy. And so I was at home at the time, and I guess that's when everything just really strike bad. It's like me being at home every day, but still he would come home to a clean house, to a cooked meal, just as any woman would do for their man or any wife would do for their husband. And so after a while, it was like, you've been on the phone all day. You've been over your sister all day. And the thing about it, what he failed to realize, if I'm on that phone, when I know he's going to walk through that door, everything is cut off. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to keep the peace. I wouldn't even go nowhere with my sisters. I would barely even talk to my mom on the phone. This is like the night when our nephew had got killed. And when that happened, everybody calling my phone, but me, of course, the ring off, because I don't want to hear all the extra. And then finally, three of my sisters came beating on the door and stuff and like asking me why I'm not answering the phone. So instead of this, so we didn't even go over our mama's house. And then once I do go back home hours later, because at this time we need each other as a family. This man gonna say, are you sure he did, or y'all just came up with that so you can get out the house?
So he was insecure.
Very at that time. And like I said, he never even, still till this day, if he ever cheated on me, I never know nothing about him. We're not even together anymore. It's just so much. I wouldn't even know where to begin with what went on with us. But I would go along with the questions, and as things come to me, I would speak up on it.
Okay.
And like I said, I stayed with him because I was hoping and wishing one day that he would actually change. No, I was not perfect in the relationship. Now, further than when he started disrespecting me and stuff, the disrespect was coming back. Only because of the fact then I was no longer scared of him, because I was over him. I was with him, but I was over him. And what did it is like when he tried to, fight my twin and stuff like that, and, family had to get involved. So even with me leaving him then, we were still separated. I was still talking to him and stuff like that, thinking everything was gonna work out, even after then. And until he messed around and stabbed me.
Now,
because he ended up getting an attitude about something. And then I'm like, this shit is not gonna work. I shouldn't even be still talking to him. So I let him know it wasn't gonna work. It wasn't gonna work at all. I tried, so it's done. It's a wrap. I was not in love with him no more, but I was still willing to give it another chance, even after the family getting involved with, the crazy stuff that he was doing. And so once that happened, girl, I was in there. I was just sitting in there on the bed, and I seen him with the little old knife, and I'm thinking he just, what I'm saying, trying to scare me at the moment. And he went to poking all, like he poked me on top of my forehead, and I'm fighting him off. He hit up under my throat just a little from my jugular vein, all on my arms, and thank God he didn't stab me like all in my chest and stuff like that. And he went to jail, and when he went to jail, he didn't he bailed out. His folks bailed him out. Actually, they bailed him out like within hours. And so once he got out, he tried to come back to the house, but I was at the hospital, and my sister had called me and told me that he was back at the house and stuff. And once they released me, not to go there and stuff like that. But I went there anyway. She came and got me, and I was like, take me home, because I wanted to be at home, because I really wanted him to see what he'd done to me. And when he didn't show no remorse, it was like, this fool gonna kill me.
Did you think that? Did you think that? Well, let me go back before I ask you that. Were there any red flags before any of the physical abuse started? Were there any red flags? I know you said that he was controlling. He used to show insecurities. At what time of the relationship did that start? How soon after the relationship?
Actually, a lot of these things started before we even got married, but I still married him because of the fact that I loved him and I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. It was like red flags. I wasn't paying nothing, no attention. The only thing I knew, he never wanted me to socialize with his sisters, knowing that we're going to talk, we're going to tell, if we feel like it's not right. And one of the sisters let me know about how he had did two of the other women before, like further and beating them and stuff like that. Well, at that time, it had never happened to me. People do tend to change, So it was like the cussing and the fussing and all that came before then. Busting out windows, cutting tires, all that. And that's some stuff I should have been doing. But that was some stuff he was doing. Cutting up mattress, everything he bought in the house, cutting the cords off of them. It was just ridiculous. Bleaching up me and the kids' clothes and all that. And I said, this motherfucker is crazy. I just really thought something was wrong. So then when I went to tell him, his sisters, them, they wouldn't even believe in the stuff, but y'all know he done did this to somebody else. There was only one, and I can't call her name. She was like, Junior, he's crazy.
So
she was saying.
So you tried to go to his family, and they didn't believe you?
Not at all. And I went to them before I even told my own family what was going on, because like I said, I didn't want them to look at him different.
Did you ever threaten to leave him if he didn't stop?
A lot of times. even though I knew in my heart I didn't have no intentions on going nowhere. I just wanted it to all stop. You know, before my kids started seeing and hearing, it really it didn't mean nothing to me with how he was doing me. But then I got the feeling differently when my kids started hearing him and seeing things, you know, and it was like, man. And like I said, my sexual desire was the first thing that left for him. And it's just crazy. I'm talking about I couldn't feel for him on that level no more. And, you know, but still, he was still my husband at the time. Right. And, you know, to keep down confusion, I would literally go to the restroom, keep myself going, and pray to God I be still the same way when I lay beside him so he can go and do what he got to do and get up off me and leave me alone.
Wow.
I'm talking about, you could see the stress all over me. And I never knew, even before I left. And, you know, I have a twin, and we are close. And forever, I kept it away from her until this one incident. And that was the incident where she was sitting in the car with me, and he came and busted the windows out, and the kids was in the back in the car seat. Because he thought she was some man sitting up in there, I'm assuming, because she had on a baseball cap on her head. And so, and I was telling her then, even before he came, and I was talking about what he was doing to me so much until I knew I saw his struggle. She thought I was like being delusional, like, girl, you just paranoid. He did not come through there because we was sitting in front of my mama's house. And girl, and by that time, this man come walking up in between those apartments, honey, and yanking on the door and open this damn door, just going damn crazy. And he hit that, I don't know if was he trying to bust the window or not, but he hit that window and that window shattered, and I pulled off, and my twin was saying, let me out because this MF is crazy. And thank God my kids were asleep because that glass could have got all in their eyes, but instead it was like in their head and stuff like that. It was just crazy. I'm talking about even 11 years later, when I bring him up, it's a story after story after story after story.
Yeah, I can tell a little bit in your voice that you still have some level of fear for him. Let me ask you a question. Some people are asking, one of the questions coming from Rachel, she says, was there by any chance he was diagnosed with a mental disorder?
Not that I know of. Still to this day, not that I know of. And that's something that I never even questioned because, you know, with the way that he was acting out and stuff, it's like his ass is crazy. But not thinking that it
not mentally.
Right. A real mental problem. Not then. I never thought about it. You know, it never crossed my mind of nothing like that. But knowing today mental illness is real. You know, depression and all that other stuff is real. And it could be a possibility. And so...
Was he on drugs or did he abuse?
That's one thing about him. He didn't smoke weed. He didn't smoke cigarettes. He'd drink a little beer here and there. I don't know what the hell was wrong with him. And so it was like... you know, like I said, we just say he crazy as hell, you know? So, where was I? Let me fast forward to something. I'm going to back up to something, girl. It's just so much. And like one
I
day,
can imagine.
It was on Christmas. And he was mad because I didn't want to go over his folks' house. I wanted to go over my own people's house because I wasn't just in the business of sitting around faking a smile and stuff. I wanted my holiday to feel real, you know, with real family and real love and stuff like that. And so, girl, I was like telling him I was not going. And I meant that. I was laying on that couch here. He came in there and broke a little mirror across my head, girl. I called the police. And when the police got there, of course, you know what happened. I lied. I just want him gone. No, he didn't hit me. You know, all that old type of stuff. But the only time he went to jail is for when he stabbed me. I don't even think I would have lied then because knowing that I was over him, but I still wanted to give him another chance because it was always like, my kids, not kids. You can't take my kids away from me and all this and that. But the day that he knew that it was over and it was done, I'm talking about, he didn't give two jacks about them boys. And they are his biological boys. And so about 2 years after that, he gonna reach out through Messenger, and we was on our way to Atlanta to take the boys for spring break. So I had pulled over and went to reading the message, and I just called my brother. He said, "Did you cuss him out?" I said, "You know what? I ain't even reply because I knew I never kept them away." And so then the next day while we was in Atlanta, I called my mama. I said, guess who reached out to me talking about the kids? My mama said just what I said to y'all. And my mama, she's 82 right now today. And my mama said, he ain't studying them kids. He trying to see what you got going on. So me, even though I'm with me and my husband now, we wasn't married, but we was together and we was in a committed relationship. And so I'm talking to him on the phone while we in Atlanta. He's talking to the kids every day we there. So bam, boom, we get back home. And once we get home, he called that Monday when they got out of school. Of course, he talked to them then. Then that Tuesday, the very next day when he called, guess what he wanted to do? Sit on the phone with me. He ain't even asked about neither one of them. Nah, baby, we can't be doing this because I'm with somebody.
And this is two. So let me back up a little bit.
Later. This is 2 years later.
So for 2 years, he didn't have nothing to do with the two kids.
Nothing.
Not even a phone call. Nothing.
Nothing. No birthdays. No nothing. I'm telling you, he just came out the woodwork with this.
And then out of the blue.
Just out of the blue. Just out of the blue with this. And I'm like, so I went studying them, so that bypassed. So some more time went by, and he was calling me, and my husband was sitting at the kitchen table, and he was calling my actual phone because my number been the same for 13 years. So and I'm like, what is he calling me for? And he was like, I don't know, answer the phone. So I answered the phone, and he gonna say he wanted to talk to them. So now they got their own cell phones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They got their own cell phones. They on social media. And so I really wasn't even studying what he was saying. And then my husband was like, you can hang that phone up. If he ain't talking about sending no MoneyGram, no Western Unions or nothing like that, you can hang that phone up because they got a daddy. And I hung it up. And when I hung it up, that's when I found out that he had been having conversations with the boys, like asking them about how do they feel about, their dad not being around, and what would be the first thing they say to him if he should ever show back up and stuff like that. He knew about that because he did that on his own. But I didn't even know he had a conversation. And that was kind of touchy to me because I'm like, oh, okay. But I wouldn't mess up because at this time then, he was in some years in. He was a daddy. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He was the man providing for them. What shall I say? Even though they grown, he is the man that's still. So one time, he pops up a couple of years later down the line again at one of my baby's basketball game through one of my kids' cousins, like play ball in another town, how the little towns go against each other.
Right.
And so my baby was saying it was out of town, and I didn't go to this one particular game. And so my baby, he was telling me once when I had picked him up from the school and stuff, he was like, Mom, guess who was there? He didn't say daddy, called him by his name. And I was like, what? How did he know? He was like, well, Mom, I'm assuming, had told him about the game that night and that he saw me, playing and stuff. So he was like, Mom, he's talking about he want me to come stay with him for the summer. I said, oh, you can get that. He said, I already know because I don't even know him like that to be staying with him. I mean, this is the type of attitudes that these boys built up towards him. But once again, last year for the 4th of July, mind you, my baby is 17 and my oldest is 20. So he wants to reach out and wants them to come to a family gathering or something like that. And so, I mean, at this time, y'all make your own decision. If you want to, you can. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nothing to do with that. So,
it sounded like he was in and out of the kid's life over the years.
No, he was not in and out. I mean, a second is not in. He just pretty much dipping in to be nosy, trying to see what I got going on, because like that's what I'm gonna get to now with that part. And so he was like talking to them or whatever, so they was telling me about it, and they said they was gonna go, cool. So they go and they come back or whatever. Of course, girl, they had some stories for me. And so on the other note, it's like it don't feel the same, They don't feel the same. Why try to come around now, and stuff like that or whatever.
Is that what the kids said?
That's what my boys was telling me.
Oh, okay.
So yet and still, he pops up at my baby just graduated in May. He pops up at this graduation, and we have this one funny brother always with his little jokes and stuff like that. But I kind of got in my feelings because it was more like, how the hell is you gonna show up at a graduation? You know what I'm saying?
After all
the
these
hard
years,
part is over. You don't feel like you're gonna get a standing ovation or something like you've been here all the time. This is the man that raised our kids. And when I say ours, and I ain't talking about the biological father either. I'm talking about me and my husband right now today. I mean, this is the only man that's gonna get credit. You know, so I was kind of heated because where the hell is he going? and then gonna tell me you was why would you not call me for the graduation? I said, hold on, why would I call you? Why would I call him and tell him anything about our son is graduating?
Right.
I don't even talk to you. So what make you think that after all these years I would actually reach out to you and you didn't even show up at the oldest graduation? So what make him think that I thought he was gonna show up here? He didn't cross my mind.
Let me ask you this, twin. So you said you was with them for the 11 whole years.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. 4 of those years we was married.
40 years you was married. So now when he stabbed you, is that what made you leave for good? Like when did you file for divorce? Was it after the stabbing?
That was it. Actually, he filed for it. Because it didn't even matter to me.
Right. So he filed for the divorce, and what was his reason? What did he tell you after, him being abusive, this and the other? Why did he tell you that he left you or he wanted a divorce?
No, he never said that he left me. He was like, well, since we ain't gonna be together, there ain't no need of us still being married,
So you had actually left the house.
I left our house.
So you left and he filed.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. I got it.
Talking about it ain't no need of him still being married to me if we're not going to be together. Boy, I could care less about that, honey, because I went on anyway by my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did. And I'm talking about it was like a right on time. It was right on time for me. Literally it was. And I'm talking about probably like within 2 months.
Somebody want to know, how was his relationship with his parents? How was his relationship with his mother and father?
Well, his dad died when he was young. He was young when his dad died. Mm-hmm. And his mama just died in 2013, I believe. In 2013. And that's another thing. She did not believe me to save my soul, her soul, or nobody's soul. I didn't care. Once I was out, I was out. I did not go to her funeral. I didn't take my kids to her funeral. I just didn't want to go around. I didn't even want to be around because I didn't want him to think that it was something that it's not. Because I knew I was me and my husband was not married at that time. Baby, I knew I went on and I didn't need for him to feel in no type of way that she want me. No, I don't. I ain't got time for no come sit with no family that I'm no longer a part of.
Right.
None of that. And I feel like if he wanted the kids to be there, he would have made a way to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you something. So we skipped a question that I asked you earlier. What role would you say you play in contributing to the problems, if any? Do you feel like you did anything to contribute to his jealousy, to his insecurities? Did you do anything? Did you say things like, another man would love this? You know how sometimes we can try to make men think that another man will swoop us up and we don't care. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And forgive me because I was running my mouth and I didn't hear nothing about what you was asking me until now. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, sometimes I'll be like, shit, you know what? I ain't worrying about you because maybe somebody else gonna enjoy being a husband or a boyfriend of mine because I know I'm a good woman. All this old stupid shit you doing, you're gonna lose me if you don't stop it.
Right.
Stuff like that. Now, I'm not saying I was perfect in a relationship because at the end of the day, like I said, when I had got over the being scared of him and stuff like that, oh, baby, I was fighting him back and cussing him back out. I didn't care. Whatever he called me, I was calling him back too. I mean, it was just dead on that. And that's what made, I'm assuming that's what made things even worse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm assuming. That's what made things even worse when I started standing back up to him.
So he didn't like, it was okay if he said whatever he want to say to you, put his hands on you. But when you start back putting your hands on him and when you start back snapping back at him, he had a problem with it.
Oh, it was a big problem. Because now I'm being disrespectful, but at the same time, you've been being disrespectful. The reason why I talk the way I talk right now is like that cockiness never left me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Behind all that, it seemed like it never left me. Like now, I'm going to tell you something. When I first got with my husband, it was like I was finding myself throwing shoes at him every time I got mad, or, you know, flicking him off. And I'm not talking about throwing up a finger or nothing like that. I'm talking about cussing him out, calling him out of his name. And my mama said, you're going to lose a good man. And so I'm like, I don't know why I do that. And I didn't know, and I didn't understand. And I'm like, maybe I felt when it was being done to me, I thought it was love. So maybe I'm doing it to him to trying to make him think that I'm acting like this because I love him or something. I don't know what it was, baby. I had to go see counseling real fast behind it.
So how long were you in counseling?
I was in counseling for over a year, going faithfully.
And did you go by yourself, or did you and your new husband go together?
Well, he went to a couple sessions with me. He went to a couple of sections with me because it didn't have anything to do with him. It was me dealing with everything that I went through on my own.
Right.
So he went to a couple of sessions and stuff. And so I'm out of that. I love him. I won't trade him for nothing in the world. But one thing about it, he don't never have to worry about me doing all that old crazy stuff no more. Because I was like, damn, I found myself acting just like him.
So what have you learned about yourself through this experience?
You got to know your worth as a woman.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
So what I've learned is that we don't have to settle. We don't have to settle. I mean, whether it's for kids, whether it's to maintain an image or to please other people. No, your happiness is what matters. And what I mean about that is what makes you happy. If you feel your family is worth fighting for, the hell with Maury and anybody else. I'm just using you as an example.
Right, I got you.
Make it happen. Make it happen. Because it's like this. What some people fail to realize as a woman, we be already gone before we've been actually left the relationship physically. Right. You know, and once we get over it, we're over it. I mean, you know, like I said, I talks about this still to this day. And like I said, every time I talks about it, it's a story after a story. And no, that do not mean that I want him. That do not mean that I am in love with him. I'm just study releasing myself more and more. And believe me, it makes you feel better to know that, damn, did I sit back and go through all this shit? The hell?
Yeah. Sometimes we do ask
exactly
ourselves.
What it does. You know, and like I said, it's 18 of us. I don't know how many nieces and nephews and stuff like that. At times, I have to bring up what happened in my past to try to get them to see and understand. You know, when people say they're going to do something, I don't care how long you've been with them. Because, you know, like when they say, I'm going to kill you before you leave me and all that. You need to pay attention to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just because you laying up with a person every day, every night, that don't mean that you know that person. According to my mother, you can be with a person for 50 years. Still there's something about that person you do not know.
Yeah, you don't 100% know them. So let me ask you something. Have you, and think about this, have you forgiven him? Have you forgiven him for everything that he's done to you?
Yeah, I have. That was the only way I was able to move forward. And saying like that, I forgave him totally, because if I wouldn't have forgave him, I'd have probably been still banging with him right now today. You know what I'm saying?
Have you forgiven yourself?
But the only thing I forgave myself for is putting my kids through something like that.
Okay.
Because I should have left a long time before that ever started happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the physical part.
Right.
That's it. But now that they older, a lot older, they understand. You know, I used to be like, dang, I hope my kids don't grow up thinking that's the way you're supposed to treat a woman and stuff like that. But like I said, my husband, he came in and he saved the day for me and my boys.
Yes.
He saved the day.
And you know what, twin, talking about it, someone just put it in here. Someone said, talking about it, where did I just see that at? Talking about it does make you feel better, and it does, you know what I mean? And not only does it make you feel better, it helps somebody else that may be in that situation and that don't know which way to turn, you know what I mean?
Right.
Let me ask you another question. I know you said that you went through counseling. Did you do anything else to self-heal? Like, how long between that relationship and your new relationship did you move?
I mean, it wasn't no time. It was within, like I said, within 2 months total.
Oh, okay. So within 2 months, you was with your husband that you're with now.
That's right. And
okay.
We never, dated or even seen each other before then or nothing like that. Like I said, I felt like he just came into my life
at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, because when I look back on it, I think if it never would have happened, I still probably would have went back because that out of sight, out of mind, and then
right.
I'm able to vent to him about certain things that I didn't vent to my family nor his family about, within the relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. I mean, and like I said, to make a long story short, I was just studying. It was like story after story after story after story after story. And sometimes people ask me questions like, what made you stay? And he would say things like, that ain't the way you treat a woman. Do you ever think about how your kids might have felt? He would ask me questions,
mm-hmm.
and I answer this question. We'll get on that conversation and go on by our business.
Wow.
Go on by our business. He's my best friend, and he really is.
And how long have you guys been together, you and your current husband?
Next month will make 12 years.
Oh, nice. So y'all start off a little rocky because you carried some baggage from the last relationship into the new relationship, but you got it together and now y'all have 12 years in. That's good. I mean, I like.
If you don't stop, you're going to lose yourself a good man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, instead of trying to tell mama, I don't understand why am I doing this?
Yeah, because you had got accustomed to it. Yeah, you got accustomed to it. And sometimes, and I think people don't realize that. Sometimes people don't realize when you're in that household, you may pick up some bad habits that you need to get rid of later. You know what I mean? You have to cut off that because sometimes you can become your trauma. You can become just like your abuser if you don't check yourself.
And people do not believe that, but I am a living witness of that. That can happen. And like I said, I still carry the cockiness right now today, but I don't disrespect my husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like what Miss Tanya you just hit that on the nose. She said it's almost like you were institutionalized. You know what I mean? It's a mental thing. You picked up some bad habits and it took you to go to counseling and your mom and people to tell you, hey, you got a good man here. If you don't change some of your ways, if you don't identify and change some of the things that you're doing, you're gonna push away a good man. And that's good that your husband now stood by you and let you get through that, because a lot of men probably would not have.
I know, right? They would have probably been banging right with me. Enjoying the flow.
Yeah, and then you would have ended up being in another toxic relationship. This is interesting.
If you allow it to happen, I mean, it's all a mental thing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I mean, you gotta think like a woman. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for your kids. And my thing about it, like I said, and I stand strong on that, I never once cheated on my first husband, none whatsoever. He never gave me a reason to even think that he cheated. But at the same time, it's like he started saying, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And if a dog walked by, baby, I done had that dog wagging his tail. I'm just sitting back like this.
It sounded like he was just insecure.
I was thinking because of the fact that I was at home for a year and a half and I was drawing unemployment at that time,
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like shit, it really wasn't a need then for me to even go back to work, I could have, but I didn't. And so, but I'm like, man, this man's crazy. But
let me ask you another question right quick.
I need for you to hold on because this is my son. I gotta answer.
Okay. While she put me on hold, if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Twin, let me know, because I have 2 more questions for her, and then we'll be ending this first episode. So if you have questions for her, please drop them now. Thank you. Rachel says,
hello?
Yes.
Thank you.
So I have another question for you. What advice would you give someone that's currently considering leaving a toxic relationship, that's going through it right now? Because I see somebody in the comments say they're going through it right now. What advice would you even give them?
I mean, it's easier said than done with me even giving the advice, because everybody's situation is different. You got to have that mindset to whether you want to stay or go. But if it's not healthy, I'm telling you, being unhappy is unhealthy, and people does not believe that those are straight facts. You will go to looking better, you will go to feeling better, not just on it physically. You will go to feeling better about yourself. I'm talking about overall about yourself, because you can't see who you are when you're in a situation like that. Somebody's gonna eventually get hurt. So my thing about it, hey, just take that loss and go head on, because there's somebody out there that wants you. But by you blocking yourself of your own blessing, by holding on to something that's not meant to be, because if it was meant to be, you wouldn't even be going through what you're going through.
Okay. That's good advice.
The thing I'm saying, and pray about it, baby. You got to pray. I'm saying, because it's not easy. After being with a person for so long, I'm here to tell you, it is not easy to just walk away, especially if y'all done built things together. You know what I'm saying? Other than, you got a family together. You building life together. It's not easy, especially when the good outweighs the bad. But I'm telling you, when that bad kick in, it's like it's no turning back from that. It's no turning back. You're going to hear, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened, what got into me. I'm going to do better. You're going to hear that each and every time. You're going to hear that. And the only thing you will be doing is sitting back hoping and wishing that it does happen. But years going to pass you by, months going to pass you by, days going to pass you by, and you're going to find yourself in that same situation over and over again with that same person.
Okay. And
everything.
Let me ask you this. So you know how when you first get out of that relationship, right? Within that first 30 days, you're just thinking, you're by yourself and you're just thinking, dang, I should just go back. I should just call. I should just, you know what, it wasn't that bad. You start saying those things to yourself, and it makes you just want to go back to that relationship, right? What advice would you give a person to say, you know what? Don't turn back. Just keep going. I know you're feeling it, but just keep it moving.
Did you hear me earlier when I said even after he stabbed me? And then I was like, nah, shit, this man gonna fuck around and kill me. Those are because it's like it wasn't that I wanted him sexually, because I didn't have no desires. It was just that, you know what I'm saying? It was still things about him that I missed, because I didn't have my husband at the time, my friend at the time. And like I said, if he wouldn't have came into my life as soon as he did come, I think I would have went back. I really truly believe that I would have went back, because at this time, he is all I know as a man. At that time.
So what are some of the things that you were missing?
We had some good times. The joking, the laughing, the talking. And he's a damn good cook, baby. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like when something happened and I think about real quick, like, damn. Oh, well, never mind. I ain't got no business calling him or nothing like that. Black, if you're going to get over this, you're going to have to get that out your mind. That's what I was hearing myself. You're going to have to get him out of your mind. And I'm talking about, it's not going to get easy. And I don't care what nobody say. It get hard about the day. Especially if you don't have nobody that you can lean on. And I'm talking about companionship. Not just with your family. I'm talking about, like, that's the reason why I jumped the way that I did, because I knew if this man was for me, that it would be done and over for him in a heartbeat. And it was. So
you're saying your new relationship helped ease the pain of getting over your ex.
And it did. I'm sorry to say. Now, that was my husband. I called him back. I'm sorry to say, it did.
did.
I feel like, and I know in the beginning it was wrong, because pretty much that's what I wanted him for, was just to get him off of my mind, because I knew if it didn't happen sooner that I was going to end up going back.
Okay. But it sounds like you're doing good now, twin. It sounds like you and your now husband, he sounds like somebody that, worth having around.
And
he is. I love it. I love it. Somebody in the comments said, don't be sorry. That is true. Going, I don't want to say jump out of one frying pan into another, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get this person out of your system. You know what I mean? You got to do what works for you. And what works for you might not be what works for someone else.
Right. That's right. That is absolutely true.
I'm
saying stuff like that. You have people that actually sits around and, don't
wallow.
Now, I'm going to say this, and this is a brother of mine, but it wasn't an abusive relationship. It's just that he could never stop cheating on his wife. He had been with her since high school.
Mm-hmm.
And they was married for like 30 years, I want to say. Somewhere close in that nature. It's 18 of us. I have brothers and sisters all in their 60s and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they ended up being friends after the divorce and stuff. Of course, they lost a son, and they lost him at the age of 22. And so, they end up being friends and everything behind that. And the thing about it, Jean never dated. It was always like, dang, I'm calling her name. She always thought, for some reason, that it was going to actually work with her and him,
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, man, we was like, how does she just sit back and wait on him like that? Even though they were not together.
Mm-hmm.
They were divorced. But she had hopes of that one day that he would come back to her.
Mm.
And still to this day, as far as we know, she's not with anybody. And they've been separated. They've been divorced since 2009.
She's still waiting on him to come back?
Shoot, that's the way it might not be true. That could be me just running my mouth. That's the way we look at it. We hadn't saw nobody or her even mentioning nobody else, or not to say that she might not, but from her actions,
right.
It's like she's holding on and thinking that maybe he will come back one day. And don't get me wrong, we all hope he do, because she's a good woman and she's a good person overall.
No, she need to move on. She better not let me get a hold to her, because I'm gonna say sus.
He turned 60 on July the 4th.
60?
And she'll be 60.
She need to go get her 40-year-old. No, I'm just kidding.
She do shit, because somebody gonna have to do something if he ain't been going over there hitting it.
Man, well, I say, sis, hey, go get some, date somebody else. Let him be. He's 60. He probably gonna come back to her when she's 60. He's 65, 70 in a wheelchair. Need to be wheeled around. That's when they want to settle down. And I love you so much. You've been there for me all my life. Boy, get out my face.
It's crazy because he's like, when he do, go to the emergency room and stuff like that.
She right there.
Because he be calling her and she's right there. And then like,
she needs to cut the cord.
We done had 2 tragedies in the family, and guess what? He's calling her, and she's right there to comfort him.
No. You need to tell her to call my show.
I'm not going to tell her that. I'm not going to tell her. I will actually have her to watch your show.
Yeah, tell her to watch it. I'm sure stories like yours, twin, I really do appreciate you coming on and giving us your story. And I hope that it encouraged somebody today to, know that at the end of the day, there's another life waiting for you. Just because one relationship didn't work out, don't mean that you can't move on and find someone that will love you properly. So
they out there. But we just too busy being, locked down for all the wrong reasons with other men, It's out there. Just let it go. I'm not gonna tell nobody that.
No, I think you did the right thing. People can pick up a knife and stab you and poke you in the head and stuff like that. I think it's time to leave. I think it's time to just say Buy, cut your losses, and keep it moving. Nobody deserves that type of abuse.
That's another thing. It shouldn't even have to get that far. And then my thing about it, I'm gonna say this too, that another reason why I stayed, because of finance. You know, we was financial stable.
Oh, financials.
Stuff like that, yeah. And like I say, even though I was at home for a year and a half, that's about as long throughout the relationship. And at the same time, you know, he was pulling all the way, you know. Mm-hmm. So my thing about it, I'm looking at life like, dang, I ain't gonna be able to do this by myself. You know, this was before I met my husband. My husband now. And I'm like, girl, let me tell you, it was just funny how the divorce came along. Let me bring that up. Mm-hmm. So finally, when we did get in court, you know, vehicles was in my name, you know, stuff like that or whatever. Girl, I went up in there so fast, got that. So whatever he want, he can have it. I don't care. I just want it over with, and he do too. And left it just like that. Shit, my husband was like, you gonna let he can have whatever, anything to keep him from bothering me.
Oh wow.
Shit, girl, I'm talking about.
So you cut your title. It sounds like you cut your losses, sis. Huh? It sounds like you cut your losses.
Girl, I'm talking about real quick. Had the titles with me and everything. Let me sign these titles over. I don't want no dealings. I don't care none. I ain't spending no child support or nothing else. I just want it over with.
Oh wow, you was really done. You was done.
Oh, baby, I was done, because I don't want no reason for him to be trying to contact me otherwise than about his kids, and that was it, and he didn't do that. He probably did that maybe 1, 2, 3, I ain't gonna even count over 4, and all that was big gaps in between.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's nothing. I'm talking about it's hard, but once you get over it, I'm telling you, it's a whole nother feeling. It's a whole nother feeling. Whether you with somebody else or not, once you get over it, it's a whole nother feeling. You will be able to find you. And it's nothing like doing what you want to do and how you want to do it. Even when you got a husband, I'm not just going to say a husband, a man in your life that, you know, not envy and jealous and worrying about what you got on, where you're going, how long you're going to be gone, and all that old crazy shit. Baby, it's good to be in a marriage or relationship to where you can also live freely. Respect.
Ooh, girl, what you say?
Respect is everything, and it is. Because if I go out there, I know what I have at home. So if I'm going out there, I'm going out there to have myself a good old little time. And if you ain't with me, I'm still going to have me a good old little time. And I'm coming back home to where mine's good.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, twins, so much. I really do appreciate you for coming on and blessing us with your story. So you keep watching. I'm sure other people are going to be sharing their stories, and who knows, we might just...
Right, I'm going to jump on because you're going to be on the phone, and I'm going to put it up on my TV and watch it.
Okay, well, thank you so much, twin. And everybody's in the comments saying thank you so much for sharing your story.
They are so welcome, and I thank them for being here to even listen. It feels so good. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Chat with you in the comments.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. All right. Bye-bye. Y'all, that was Twin. I absolutely love her story. That was great for our very first episode. I'm really happy that she came and shared her story with us. I just want to let anybody else out there know, if you have a story you want to just get off your chest, if you feel that your story can help somebody else break away a toxic relationship, especially if you've moved on and you still living a good life, whether you have somebody else or whether you are living an absolutely beautiful single life, please reach out to me so you can get on my panel and share your story. Thank y'all so much. Thank you, Rachel. And thank you, Dee, for keeping up with the time, girl, because you know I got a flight to catch. Thank y'all so much. We are logging off. I do appreciate y'all. The next episode 2, will be Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank y'all so much. See y'all soon. Bye.